Yeah.
All the people who were evacuated, the children were evacuated, and each one was taken into a particular house. Those people who used to look after us got paid, of course, by the government to look after us. And we were left over right to the end. And when we first went, there was a woman there with sort of bulging eyes, an elderly woman, and she was looking at us the whole time, and Manny was very upset. My brother, it was Manny and I, we were together, because of a similar age, and he was very upset about it, because he he perceived that that woman was going to take us home, and so it was Kahava. And when we got to the end, Rabbi Taylor, she was there. So those are the two children I want. When we got to house, she was the wife of the mayor of the and a beautiful house, hot water running, beautiful garden. Manny could not stop crying.
And he was 12.
He was 12, and he could not stop crying. And I said to Manny, I said, "What are we going to do?" Maybe 11 and a half, I think he was. So she couldn't take it, you know. The woman, she saw us showing crying so much. "Well, what do you want to do?" She was a lovely woman. I said, "We want to be with our friends." So she found out where our friends were. There was a woman called Mrs. Marriott, and she was a lovely elderly woman. He had a son who was in the army. He was a bugler, and
was there a bugle there in the Second World War?
Yeah. Well, he was there with a bugle. I don't know. So we went there, and she said, "Well, I've got about 5 or 6 children here." So he said we could stay overnight. So there was Kravitz, and there was our friends from the we had a night there. It was she put us all on the floor in one room, and we enjoyed ourselves. And the following day, we were going to a place called Washington, where we were there with a couple who didn't have any children.
Just you and Manny?
You and Manny, yeah.
Ah, you left this
Manny
woman's
and I
house?
left this woman, yes. And
yeah, again, you were away from your friends then?
yes, we were friends, but it was a
calmed
different
down.
time, a younger couple, and he had birds. He kept racing birds.
Oh.
And so we used to help him with the birds. He used to go to school, and then we used to come home, and they were very nice to us. And
how long were you there for?
well, we were only there for the whole time was 3 months.
Oh.
That's all, because there were no bombing in Leeds.
And what connection did you have with Grandma and Grandad then?
We used to write to them.
Yeah.
And tell us, you know, what's
They came to visit?
They came, I don't know if they came to visit. Maybe they did come once, I wasn't sure. And they came to me when we was in Mrs. Marriott's.
Right at the beginning?
The very beginning they came to see us. And they had a shed, Mrs. Marriott. I think we were made there for a couple of days, I'm not sure. Because maybe some of the other children went away, but anyway. Yeah, it must have been a few days we were there. And and there was a shed where the master of the house used to work. It wasn't in that guard, I don't know what he used to do. Anyway, so they came, Mum and Dad came to visit us. And knocked on the door and said, "My children are here." So she was very slow, the woman, and he said, "They're over in there, in that hut." What have they done? What's going on here? So anyway, they opened the door. I said, "Mum, what are you doing in here?" She sort of put as a punishment.
Yeah. Well, that's where these used to work, while the birds were there?
No, this was in the previous one.
That one. So what were you doing there? Just playing?
Yeah, we used to cut the bread, the saw, everything. Anyway, so then we were sent to this, these people, I've forgotten the name now. Anyway, so we were there for quite some time. It was near Lincolnshire, it was. And
what were these villages like? They're primitive?
Well, they didn't have running water, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because where I went to it's this Washington, it was called. They didn't have running water. They had water from the rainwater.
Yeah.
We used to wash ourselves, take the water. And in the street they had a proper pump, you know, we used to...
Pump for what?
Water.
What, to get water you to take in
yes,
buckets?
from the street, yes, yes.
Oh.
Yes. Clean water, drinking water.
Yeah.
We used to bring it in, that was how it used to be.
Well, they used to have farms there. They had farms. There were farmhouses. There was a farm.
No, I didn't see any farms. We were near a river which went on out to Lincoln, and we used to walk to Lincoln from there. It was a long walk. We didn't worry us at all. We used to sit down by the river many times. It was very nice, lovely. We used to do the birds, and they didn't have toilets. You used to go and sit down in a place, you know.
They didn't have a toilet there?
No, they had, you know, they used to do...
Oh, a bog. So how long were you there for?
3 months.
You said Mick once.
No,
Mick
my uncle Aby.
Aby, he came to visit you?
Yes, he came to visit twice, unfortunately. It was a terrible atmosphere because he used to be a chain smoker and they never had... Everything was in its place, you know. They had no children and they used to look after the house. And there used to be a room there with pictures of the birds all around. And we were able to go there on Sunday to sit down for an hour or so and look at the birds. That was a Sunday enjoyment we used to have. And Manny and I used to laugh at each other. We used to say, now but children, David and Manny, you can go and sit down in our room. It's Sunday today. And so we used to sit down like this and look at the birds, pictures of the birds. That was the enjoyment. So you can imagine when he came in and knocked on the door, he used to
caused a rumpus.
He used to have a smoker's cough, and the cigarette ash used to fall on the carpet. So we used to look at each other. We used to look at them looking at each other. When is he go? Ah, David!
Who is this? Who is this, Abe? How's he? Your uncle? How's your uncle?
He was my uncle from my Auntie Betsy, my mother's
Betsy's husband.
Older sister's husband.
Ah. Who is this? Is this her? Who's this?
That's Betsy.
This
That's my
is
older
Betsy.
sister, my mummy's older sister.
Grandma's older sister.
That's right, Betsy.
Yeah, and this is you and Manny here.
Yeah.
Where is this? Also in Roundy Park.
Park, yeah.
And what came from her family? Who are her children?
Beatty. She had a daughter called Beatty.
Ah.
And that was the husband was Aby.
So he
was a watchmaker.
Yeah.
And I think he was sent to do some munitions work because elderly people or people that couldn't go into the army.
Yeah.
Because maybe they were being Peruvians or foreigners, they weren't allowed in the army. So he used to do a munitions factory. Uncle Mick used to also. That's why he was very badly injured there. But he used to come and visit us, and it wasn't a very enjoyable visit. We used to wait for him to move on. Anyway, so he came to visit us twice. And then we went once to Lincoln, and we met Harold there. We were in Woolworths. We went to see... and we met my older brother, Harold, and he was staying in a family in Lincoln. And we saw the Menchevskis there, they were also in a family in Lincoln. And that's it until at the end of the 3 months were up, and Mummy sent them a letter, I suppose, and she was terrible because she's got so used to us in the family.
Yeah.
It's a horrible feeling, I wouldn't know. And I could not understand why she was crying. And we were taken away, and it must have been...
What, you had to go, or...?
No, Mummy wanted us back.
No, when you went? When you evacuated?
It was accepted, it was because they were worried.
Because they didn't know what was going to happen.
What was going to happen. And they were bombing, terrible bombing. And,
you remember the bombing?
Of course I do. Because, not that they wanted to bomb Leeds, because there was nothing to bomb. Yeah. Sometimes, because the anti-aircraft was so strong that we saw the searchlights in the...
around Leeds.
So they used to get rid of their bombs and said, well,
go faster.
No, they used to go back and said, well, we bombed...
they didn't want to get stuck in the...
Because we were going to Liverpool, which was a port, a very important port.
Yeah.
You see, they used to come from America and so on, and they bombed there. But
what was the shortage in the war? Food shortage?
Yes, everything was rationed. Everything was rationed.
How did you manage them?
Oh man, we managed because.
So how come Grandad wasn't?
Well, Grandad
how come he wasn't taken in the army?
Oh, it was in the first. He was too old.
He was 40 then?
Yeah, he was 40. Yeah, he was too old for the army.
Yeah. Was he in the
Well,
Dad's
he used
army?
to
He
go,
was in Home Guard?
He used to what's the name? Fire watching. He used to have to go at nights, you know, to see that everything is all right in places. He used to stay there all night there. So did Louis also. Because Louis was, I don't know if he was naturalised, because he wasn't in the First World War. My Bab said, he's got muscle, that fella. He wasn't in the First World War and he wasn't in the Second World War.
Well, he was too old then?
Too young in the first
and too old in the second.
And he used to get, from the black market, he used to get butter.
Yeah.
And sometimes he didn't succeed in getting butter because he used to be in business.
What business, yeah?
He has in what's the name? What do they call them now? In the materials he used to have.
This is Grandma's mother, Louis that we know.
Louis that you knew.
Yeah.
Yes. He used to in linings for clothes and so on. And he used to have a good business.
Where did he live then? He had his own house?
He used to live with Betsy. And eventually he lived with us. And my uncle, my auntie Millie, before she got married, she used to work for him as a secretary. Anyway, so he used to. And one week he said, "You keep it for me because I don't like margarine. I don't eat margarine."
Who? Louis said.
Louis said. No. Anyway, so we didn't have any butter, so we used to keep the margarine. You know, we used to have no choice. We had margarine. So Louis was coming home. So Mum said, "You put the margarine in the butter dish."
Because he used up his butter.
No. What?
He used up his butter.
No, well, I suppose we used to use butter, but there was no butter left anyway. So we put it in the butter dish because when we had margarine, we used to have margarine in the paper packing which had margarine. So Mum, and for butter we used to have a butter dish. So she cut half of the margarine and put it in the butter dish and don't say anything, use it. So we all sat down and he came home and you never realised we were all sitting down and watching it. And he was plastering on the margarine and he was eating it. He said, "You know, Al," he used to call Helen, "Al, you can tell the difference between margarine and butter." And he went, anyway. There was another incident with my Uncle Amy. He was can't believe it. Anyway, he used to have to stop it.